be talking about the TCP IP model and the OSI model. We're going to compare both the TCP IP model and the OSI model. We're going to actually talk about each layer, identify the name of them, give you a basic history of both models, and explain why we use these models. The TCP IP model was actually created by DARPA, and DARPA stands for the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. One of the things they created was the ARPANET. Basically, the DARPA was created by Eisenhower back in 1958 in response to the Soviet launch of Sputnik. And one of the things they did is create the TCP IP model in 1969, and now it's maintained by the IETF. TCP, by the way, means Transmission Control Protocol, and IP is the Internet Protocol. The OSI model was actually made by the OSI, which is the Open Source Interconnect Project at the International Organization for Standards. So yeah, that's definitely a mouthful. It started in the 1970s, and in the 1980s they finished up the standard. So why do we have this? The biggest reason is a conceptual model. It helps them talk about the different components. It's a method to communicate with other groups, especially some groups work on the infrastructure, some work on the application. The biggest thing it does for you is each layer, you only have to talk about the layer above and the layer below it. The TCP IP layers are application, transport, internet, and the network interface. And then of course there's icing, like on a cake. Just kidding. That's not really one. So the next one is the OSI model. It has 7 different layers. 7 is application, the 6 is presentation, the 5th is the session layer, the 4th is transport, the 3rd is network, the 2nd is data link, and layer 1 is the physical layer. And we're going to talk about these in another episode. Let's compare them side by side. Comparing the left will be the OSI model. On the right will be the TCP IP model. At the top we have the application, presentation, and session layers. These correspond to the application layer on the TCP IP side. Next we have the transport layer, which is the same both on OSI and TCP IP. Then you have the network, which is the internet layer on the TCP IP model. Finally, we have data link and physical, which corresponds to the network interface. So let's get some examples of why we would use this. So let's say you're replacing your Cat5e cable with fiber. This would be a layer 1 change for the physical interface of the OSI model, and it only has to be concerned with the layer 2 side, the data link layer. Another example would be AppleTalk. If we were changing from AppleTalk to IP version 4, that's a layer 3 change at the network layer. Layer 3, which is the network layer, talks to the level above, which is the transport layer, which is layer 4, and then the layer beneath, which is the data link layer, layer 2. So today we talked about the TCP IP model, the OSI models. We compared them between each other. We identified each layer, we talked about the history, and we talked about why we use them. Thanks for watching. This is one of many videos I'll be creating on networking. To find out more about the OSI model and other topics, just click on the subscribe button below.